Hello and welcome to Philosophy of Science, Past, Present, and Future. For those who don't know me, my name is Alan Love. I'm the director of the Minnesota Center for Philosophy of Science, and I'm one of the co-organizers of this conference. My other co-organizer is Sander Verheeg here, and we are excited to welcome you to this really special event. We've got 3 days of exciting presentations on a number of different features related to philosophy of science, thinking about its past, looking at where it stands today, and trying to maybe glimpse into the future of where it might be going. I want to quickly draw your attention to a couple things. One is you have a program in your folder, so that gives you the orientation for our schedule. You've also got an indication of local restaurants. I'll say more about that in a minute. And also an article by me about the connection between the Vienna Circle and the Center for Philosophy of Science. I just want to draw your attention to that very quickly because I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. But before I get into the nitty-gritty of those details, I want to invite Dean Ann Waltner to come offer some opening remarks.
Thank you, Alan. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to this conference. I am, as Alan said, Ann Waltner, and I serve as the interim dean of the College of Liberal Arts for about 1 more month. I am a professor of history. My work is on 16th and 17th century China, and one of the things I am interested in is the way writers made sense of the natural world. That is not exactly science, but it is interaction between intellectuals and the physical world that surrounds them. It's our honor to host you for what is sure to be a terrific 3-day event. This event does bring together some of the brightest minds to think about how we think about the philosophy of science, the past and the future, and we're proud that this is happening on our campus. The University of Minnesota has a long-standing reputation as a global leader in the philosophy of science. The Center for Philosophy of Science and the Department of Philosophy have built a tradition of groundbreaking research that bring together scientific inquiry and philosophical reflection. We just, a week or two ago, had an external review of the philosophy department, and most of those are actually quite pleasant. When the external reviewers came into my office, the first thing they said to me is, "Do you really understand what you have here?" And so after they'd read the documents, but they wanted to be sure that the dean's office understood the value of the philosophy department, but they also made it very clear that the Center for Philosophy of Science was really an incredibly important part of that. And then after they spoke to the department, they came back and said, "Remember what we said?" We are even bigger advocates than we thought. I'd like to give a special shout out to Alan, who's recently been elected to be the next president of the Philosophy of Science Association. Let's give him a hand. Alan's leadership and his contributions to the field are a huge point of pride for the college and the university. His work is a great example of the innovative cross-disciplinary thinking we value here and that we strive to encourage. Before I conclude, I'm going to give you a personal reminiscence. I was friends with Ron Geary. He was married to Barbara Hannawalt, who was a colleague of mine in the history department. They had the best wine cellar in the history department. It maybe was the only wine cellar in the history department. I do not know enough about alcohol consumption in the philosophy department to comment on that. So one afternoon, Saturday afternoon, a long time ago, I got a phone call from Barbara Hannawalt. She said, "I just opened a bottle of wine. It's gone a little bit acidic. I'm going to make beef bourguignon. would you please come over and help me eat it? Help us eat it. And I didn't mention that Barbara was probably the best cook in the history department, too. So what happened was we had a lovely afternoon and evening with them. And my husband was a scientist, and Ron sort of regarded him as an object of study. So it was a very fun evening. As you kick off this conference, I hope that as you said, you will look at the current state and future research, and you will think of ideas that will push the boundaries of what is possible in the future. So thank you for being here, and have a wonderful 3 days.